Hello, my friend. Welcome to KCM Day 6. We're here in the round of 4, the semifinals with Team Bisu versus Team Hero. Got quite the lineup today, so let's get into it. Alright, the first 6 matches have been decided. We've got a pretty sick set of games here to start us off. We are going to have that ladies match and a PvP, and then that's pretty much it for our mirror matchups.
I think one thing that's really interesting to say here, Sain, is that we've got the Terran designated driver, Bora, here on Team Bisu, like kind of driving these chimpanzees all the way to their matches, making sure they get there on time and they don't get too rowdy on the bus. And I'm looking forward to set number 6 with Bisu versus Hero. It's going to be an amazing game. And also I think Bora versus Cadenzi, that'll be an interesting match. Cadenzi with some something to prove, something to want to redeem herself here and kind of make up for that a bit of a disastrous debut.
Yeah, she did fall apart a little bit. Luckily, her team managed to carry her through, and now she's going to get a second chance here. Neo Sylphid in ZVT should be interesting. Yeah, Mini versus Saxer. I think that set should go to Mini, and I think the set with Mighty versus Mong should be able to take that. The only toss-up I'm seeing here is these ladies matchups, and of course Tyson versus Sharp. We'll see how that one goes. I think Sharp should have the upper hand, but I know that you want to see this Protoss squad go through to the finals, so maybe we can hope for Tyson to take down Sharp here.
Yeah, it definitely would be cool to see a Bisu versus Light finals, which is what I was kind of hoping for and expecting, but it is Team Hero. I mean, Hero's an amazing player, very well around, and he has got a pretty strong team here to contend with Bisu, so let's see what happens. I'm kind of excited for this one.
Anything can happen in these best of ones, and of course the roulette wheel for set 7 and 8 might end up being the deciding factor here. Let's go ahead and jump into game number 1, and here we go. Set number 1, the ladies players here. We got our appetizer, so let's dig in. How you doing, Shun? Swallowed any tough nuts lately?
You know what? I'm starting to feel a little bit allergic, but now I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm kind of excited, and I'm glad that we're doing the PvP first because we're going to be warming up for this cast, and it's not going to be the most fun game to cast of the night, but doing it first kind of, it's going to feel fresh, and it's not going to be too bad to get through here. And I'm kind of excited to see what these two players are going to throw at each other. It's kind of like a ape versus ape matchup. Two chimpanzees in a phone booth wielding knives. Who's going to come out on top?
I thought that was the ZVZ matchup. That was the the reference.
Yeah, I'm repurposing it for this.
This matchup is more like two apes sitting trees apart throwing dung at each other, but that's that's just my interpretation. It's gonna be those little dung balls from the Reavers getting fired and taking out taking out the Dragoons, but
sometimes you can kind of imagine these chimps sort of fashioning trebuchets within the branches of these trees and trying to make some kind of makeshift poo flinging devices to yield the best results. And sometimes they can be quite creative. And let's see what they're going to be choosing this time here.
All right, well, very quick nexus. We have our blue Protoss. On the other side, double gateway. Will Kim with the scout here just decide to go for like a triple gate and go directly into goons? We'll see. It's actually going to be pumping out zealots here to start, so this could be really painful. Gotta come over here and put on the pressure though. Gotta send these zealots across the map.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because Hani's kind of like getting the build order win right now, but there is a small window here where pressure can be applied, and right now though it looks like the response is just going to be the Nexus, so it's taking the slight build order deficit here by just throwing down a belayed a Nexus and trying to catch up that way. But yeah, slight edge to Hani going forward here.
True. Yeah, it feels like she judged the situation here and realized probably not going to be able to get any damage with just a trickle of zealots with 2 gateways, so I'm gonna go ahead and just throw down that Nexus. We're not professional PvP players by any stretch of the imagination, so guys, forgive us if we make any mistakes here, but we're gonna do our best in this mirror matchup.
Yeah, I'm certainly by no means an ape expert, and watching them in their natural environment can sometimes be disorientating. But we'll do our best to ascertain what's going on here in the jungle. But yeah, looks like nothing too untoward right now. Just both players making zealots. Look at a very early gas though, coming up from the other side of the field. So just pure zealots here for Hani and not really anything else. So really doubling down on this early economy and trying to delay the gas and the tech for as long as possible while focusing purely on army and economy here.
It's quite a long rally distance across the map, so these zealots are going to arrive, and there should be enough zealots here to fight. There's 3 right now, so the advantage goes to Hani, but some more should pop out here soon. She's bringing some probes up to fight as well, it looks like. Not taking the best engagement, but now going to get this around. Oh, losing 1 probe. All right. Kim getting a little bit further behind from where she was before. These 2 zealots on the ramp really need to get down here and start to fight. Ooh, not actually bringing those forward is bad news here for Kim. She probably needs something like a shield battery here.
Yeah, shield battery would actually be pretty good here, but now it's going to be 6 versus 5 zealots. There's a small window where Hani can just come in here and start to punish Kim. Kim has to be very careful and pull a few of these probes off the line to fight. 2 of the zealots going down in quick succession. 5 zealots remaining to the 3. 2 zealots have just now popped out of the gateways, but they're not joining the fight just yet. And looks like Hani's kind of winning the multitask battle by getting on top of these zealots, taking them out really quickly. Now starting to kill some of the probes too. A little bit of slow reaction from Kim to finally come down here with these 2 reinforcing zealots and ward those away, losing a few probes in the process. A very big advantage going for Hani, I would say here. Not only getting the build order win in the start, but now killing some probes as well. Has a forge behind us, can make defensive cannons if there was some kind of like follow-up DT play or anything. So looking very strong in this game thus far is Hani.
I just want to mention in the draft, when the team captains were choosing their players, Hani was the first pick, or excuse me, Kim was the first pick in that lineup. For the tier 2 ladies players. She was the one that was picked absolutely first, and Hani was picked 3rd because that's the position that Hero found himself in. And you know, Kim not really showing up, not really proving that she was worth that first pick, so that's a bit unfortunate for Hero here. May end up losing the first match of the, or excuse me, for Bisu here. Bisu may end up losing the first match of the night, just due to this blunder here, not sending the zealots forward, not actually rallying them down to the bottom of the ramp where they can be useful in that fight.
Yeah, we saw Hani's zealot just go into the main base. They get a full scout off, come out unscathed more or less as well. Both players though getting that sizzle done, so going to be getting both the legs upgrade for those zealots with the potential of DTs as well. Robo coming online for Hani in the natural expansion with a pylon made at the 3rd base, kind of suggesting that she is prepared to take this to a very long game if need be, but this could just be for a spotting incoming shuttles as well. I don't think that either player is deviating too much from their original plan, but it looks like Hani's coming out way ahead on the economic and army curve of this game. Templar Archives now starting to come online in the natural expansion of Hani. We do see a forge for both players, and Templar Archives for both players, and a Robo for both players. Both players doing more or less the exact same thing, just Hani's doing it better across the board.
Yeah, she definitely has a massive advantage here. Doesn't mean that there's not going to be comeback potential here for Kim. There's always the possibility that we get Psystorm drop or Reaver drop that can just wipe out everything. Okay, no Reaver here, but possibility for Psystorm drop that can instantly wipe out the entire mineral line of Protoss player if you're not careful.
Yeah, we do see the observatory coming online for Hani as well, wanting to make sure that there's as much counter DT options as possible, not just having those cannons to defend at home, but also being able to stay active on the map and maybe put on a bit of pressure as well. Would like to go for a timing here if possible, and if the DTs were being used to defend, you do need this observer to kind of finish the job and not let them just, you know, kill your units for free with those DTs and buying more times for more unit cycles to come out. So it's important to make sure you have those observers despite having cannons, and would be nice to see Hani maybe go for some kind of pressure soon, but we'll be wanting to be very careful just scouting around now with the probe, seeing exactly what's at the front. Only sees 5 of these zealots, but does manage to get into the main base with this probe, which is huge, saying sees the exact amount of gateways that are available, even a little bit of the tech here as well for Kim here. So Hani has like pretty good idea of where she is in this game. She's probably feeling very comfortable right now.
Oh yeah, she's doing so good right now. We've got some Templar popping out here. That makes the defense a little bit easier here for Kim, but I'd love to see Hani just take another base right now. There's really nothing that Kim can do about it. Her army size is incredibly small, and look, there's the probe heading out towards the third as she pushes forward with that first observer. DT here on the defense will be very useful in case Kim actually does come out, but I think Hani is not going to have too much problem actually taking this first base here, and she should be getting into her own Templar as well. Look at all the gateways she's got. She's way ahead in that gateway count.
Yeah, she's way ahead, and I did think that she would go for this third and try and take it just to a late game and just guarantee a win as much as possible because of the sizable lead she had in the early game. It makes sense to just maintain the game state and just try and turn her small advantage into an even bigger one, and she's doing a very good job of that. And it does kind of put the onus here on Kim to make something happen, and she's going to require some kind of really great storm drops or just great psionic storm trades in the center of the map to have any kind of chance of overcoming this supply deficit you'll be facing, and especially with this amount of gateways that will be online soon for Hani. I don't think that there's going to be enough of a numbers game for Kim to work with for long. There's a small window here where maybe something can be done with the amount of Templars that are available and the shuttle now, but a lot will have to be done with these initial storm drop, and there is nothing really covering these probes actually. So if somehow Kim can thread the needle, avoid this pylon at 12 o'clock, and somehow get the shuttle undetected in here, maybe could basically wipe out this entire probe line, and then that could be enough of a way to come back into this game here. But she will be flying over this pylon soon.
Yeah, there's the pylon. Does she notice? No, she has not noticed. Hani not paying attention here. Gonna end up losing a lot of probes, I think. Here we go. Huge probe hits here. Didn't get the full mineral line. Missed about 5-6 probes there on the top part, but that was a ton of damage, and that really does give her a chance here in this game. However, she is gonna have to hold this attack, which is coming through from Hani. Hani gonna go ahead and counter attack here. And she does have quite a few probes that she transferred over towards that third base as well. Not transferring any probes over here to the natural, though. Some things are going wrong for Hani and giving Kim a good chance to come back. Here we go, running into the natural. This could be huge. We've got so many storms here to deal with these zealots. Storms actually going down on the... oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Storms coming back onto Kim's army as well. I really thought she was going to try and storm the zealots here, but... looks like Hani just shoving through now with those great storms on her opponent's zealots and dragoons at the same time. The rallies are a little bit closer, so I guess she just barely holds on. But a lot of damage coming from both sides with those storms.
Yeah, Hani had a lot of itchy fingers after losing those probes and kind of felt like she had to do something in retaliation there. Maybe it was a little bit too soon to pull the trigger there, but it did seem like for a moment there with that great storm she had some chance of coming back, but would really have liked to see her stabilize her position more before trying to go for something like that. And now it kind of opens up the door for Kim to come out and take the third expansion of her own. She is kind of rotating her army around the map right now, so maybe there's a small chance here that some counterattacks could be levied against her in the next coming minutes if she does continue to be a little bit haphazard with how she positions her army on the map. But right now I feel like Kim's been given a window to come back into this game from Hani.
She is in a supply lead now for I think the first time this game. This army's looking a little scary. There are some storms available here. And the third base is going to be taken by Kim at that frontal position. So there is a possibility of kind of wedging the army in there. If you can suddenly get your army over there next to the base and force your opponent to try and defend across that little bridge there, then you can get some amazing storms and, you know, really ravage that army as it comes to defend. But Hani not going for that right now. Instead, she's going to grab a fourth base.
Yeah, I think I can't really complain with the game plan here. She wants to try and go for the super long game, which was basically what she originally wanted to do and try and take advantage of this early game advantage she had, and she's still trying to double down on that. And it might be the wise choice here, not trying to push the envelope too much and risk more of a deficit being created by these failed attempts at counterattacks. But we now see another drop coming to this natural expansion. There's one single Dragoon to intercept and kind of put some damage onto this shuttle, as well as a cannon to ward it away. But I think it might still have enough time to unload and drop all these probes. Wisely though, pulling out these probes in time, not going to be losing too much to this shuttle, and it will go down as well. So big win for Hani. They're only losing like 2 or 3 probes, and they're a big counterattack coming to the third base of Kim right now. The probes train got completely missed, but it's like a big juicy storm drop on that choked up units, those saying. So it's looking pretty good of a trade for Hani. There's just not enough Protoss inventory to keep this attack going for too much longer. Beautiful storms though from Hani, going to be doing quite a lot of damage, but there's just not enough left over. Just pure Dragoon against this huge army of Zealot, Goon, and Archon and Templar support. It's like Kim is starting to run away with the trades in this game.
That was a pretty good position there, but the storms were not levied in time. Actually, she really needed to blanket that whole bridge area and just cut down all of those zealots as they were coming forward. But she kind of slowly dropped out the storms there and ended up losing most of her army before the storms did any damage. And now she's possibly going to be losing this 4th base. Army is over here. High Templars are going to get cut off, though. They don't have energy for Storm, and they're going to lose their lives before they can get down here. I think we've got 1 or 2 more Storms in this army, though. Oh, God. She didn't run forward with the Dragoons to actually snipe those Templars. So Templar are going to make it away here, just kind of miraculously rejoining with the army. Nexus is going to go down, but Dragoons are being killed here, and a 4th Nexus goes down for Kim, actually, on the other side of the map. So she's going to sit here and try to get the best trade she can with this army. Actually, she's going to try to run away. Maybe she can get some storms off while backing off with this army. Oh, great storms there on a lot of those Dragoons, and Hani just not moving. Kim really taking better trades overall in this fight.
Yeah, Kim somehow has done a much better job of fighting in this game. It seems like Hani was winning the build order side of things and the early game strategy, and but honestly, maybe Hani had a better game plan, but Kim has shown us that she certainly does know how to fight with her units well. Maybe that's why she was chosen first, just because she had a slightly better understanding of how to move her army in the mid to late game phases, and just the slightly better execution in team fights, giving her better trades can make all the difference in these matchups. So maybe that's the one thing that's going to be going for her in this game, and is now taking her own 4th base. So going to be taking a slight lead if this 12th base of Hani doesn't get able to be established too easily here, because it looks like I think that Kim wants to challenge this position. I don't think she wants to just let Hani come up here and expand. There is going to be a contest, and here it goes then.
Better overall fight so far from Kim, and we're going to see if she can actually close out this game by killing off this army and dealing with this 4th base once again. Great storm dodging there with the Dragoons, dragging the Zealots into the storm of Hani, and now there's just way too many Dragoons. The critical mass here of Dragons just overpowering everything that Hani has. She's going to retreat to her cannons here, going to retreat to her resupply line here in the natural, but the game is really switched now into Kim's favor. She is completely dominating here with that 4th base now finished. She's mined out of her main, but she's gonna have full saturation, whereas Hani, she's run out of her main as well. She just doesn't have anywhere to send these probes, so she's gonna have to oversaturate these last 2 bases, and they're gonna run out very quickly. Whereas Kim now just sending a huge saturation to this 4th. She's going to have much better income here going forward.
Yeah, pretty much everything's lining up to look like it's going to be more and more Kim favored as time goes on. Hani is slightly ahead in supply right now. There's maybe this small window where she has slightly more production, but that's going to change very quickly now this 4th base for Kim is online. Both players now will be mined out in their main base. The natural will be slightly mined out slower for Hani, just because of how many probe drills and probes lost during this earlier phases. So there will be a little bit more mining in this natural expansion. So she will be on 3 base economy to match Kim for some time, but that will very quickly change as this natural expansion becomes mined out in a few moments here, Sam.
Yeah, I feel like Kim is lacking a bit of that killer instinct, or excuse me, Hani is lacking a bit of that killer instinct because she had such an advantage after killing those early probes. She could have pushed that further, but she went for, you know, more of a macro play. She let Kim just sit back and really produce probes and get into her macro game. And it's clear now from these fights and from these kind of mid-game, late-game positions that Kim is just a better overall player in her engagements and possibly in like the late game macro as well. So she, you know, eventually she will be able to overwhelm, I think, Hani here. So it seems like a lack of gameplay, maybe a lack of experience here is affecting Hani, that she didn't realize that her opportunity to win this game was probably after that early advantage, just pushing it further and further and trying to take that win earlier instead of going to this late game.
Yeah, definitely. It does seem like Hani is a fairly quick player. She's certainly hitting over 130, 300 APM. She's certainly got some good execution, but certainly doesn't have the game experience and knowledge that it seems like Kim is privy to right now. Doing a very good job of balancing the army composition and movement on the map and staying very active here, even just seeing her shut down this probe, trying to make this expansion and infrastructure in the bottom right. Like, just these little things is actually a big deal in this matchup, especially in the late game phases, showing a lot of experience and knowledge and what to do and when to do it. And now we see maybe this could be coming to a close as we see two huge armies now about to meet in the middle of the map, saying, here we go.
All right, storms being thrown down in the center of these Dragoons. Really rough storms here for Hani to eat. There's plenty of Archons here to follow up as well. More Archons for Kim. More Dragoons for Kim now too. The storm control has just been so good here from Kim, but actually Hani has enough to continue this fight. Dragoon numbers are starting to run thin though. One DT here in the mix, adding on some of its damage as well. And, you know, I'm really shocked right now that Hani has been able to hold on. She actually had the overall supply advantage going into that fight somehow, even though she has been delayed here. She lost so many probes, and you know, she didn't get that fourth base up nearly as fast as Kim. She still managed to macro a little bit harder. Maybe that 300 APM really coming into effect in just terms of that overall macro.
Yeah, I don't think that she's going to hold on for much longer, saying. It'd be kind of nice if she can somehow get this base going in the bottom right, though. It looks like she's going to maybe lose this probe again. Oh, she actually loses the probe again. That's devastating. I don't know why she kept the probes next to the DT like that. It's kind of sad to see, but yeah, going to be getting this base delayed even more. Look, I was kind of surprised that Kim's taken this much effort to actually micro around this DT and be this active out on the map. It does kind of show a deeper understanding and class in this player, and only playing at under 208 actions as well. So definitely more of a thoughtful player rather than a mechanical player, and I'm kind of impressed by Kim, I think.
Yeah, starting to earn her first place pick here. She's proving Bisu right that she was the correct choice. And in this PvP situation, she's been a little bit more... Oh god, she's gonna lose a probe again. No, 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 no!
Oh my god. 10 kills on that Dark Templar, saying, can you believe it?
It's unreal, actually. The finesse shown here from Kim is a little bit overwhelming, I guess, for Hani. Hani not actually transferring enough probes to that fourth base, but it might actually go in her favor because I don't think we're gonna have I don't think we're gonna have many probes at that location here pretty soon. We're gonna have a storm drop coming through here. Look, see, not that many probes, so she should have more over at the third base to transfer after all these probes get wiped out. Big storms there. Doesn't get every probe, but gets the majority. And this base, he just mined out. She's got to transfer all those workers to the fourth base right now because she just does not have income. Look at how slow those minerals are going up right now.
Yeah, she's basically dead in the water in terms of her economy, especially after that storm drop just hit. This probe transfer will be coming at a good time for her because the storm drop hit when it did. She can now come in here and not worry about losing all those juicy probes all at once. But look at how long this Nexus has been delayed and is being set up in the bottom right now. She can't even afford to make one, and Kim is just ready to go, maxed out right now against only 160 supply for Hani. So Kim is ready to just like grab this ape with her own chimp-like arms and just shake her like a tree, coming at her full force now. Huge swarm of goons raining down onto these split up army, and beautiful storms on this northern flank as well. Beautiful control from both sides, but so far it's looking like the positioning is just so much better for Kim in this fight, saying I just don't think there's going to be enough for Hani to hold on here, dropping in supply by quite a significant amount. 60 supply advantage for Kim moving forward. There's no way this fifth base could be set up anymore.
Yeah, this fourth base is pretty much 100% dead. We do have a DT in here. It does get picked off. That base is going to go down, and Kim with not only a fifth base, but a sixth base as well now getting taken here. Oh, looks like that's actually being counterattacked. Some zealots are going to kill that Nexus, but we do have that base in the center left or bottom left area. That's already been mining for quite some time, and there's a 60 supply advantage now. So I think Kim just gonna clean things up here, get rid of these zealots, and she should be good to. Oh my god, she actually saved that. Crazy 23 HP.
Yeah, it's just 2 hits from killing that Nexus, unbelievably. Another little storm drop actually from the high ground with these High Templars. Still a lingering High Templar there, waiting for a little bit more energy. Currently at 60 energy, needs a little bit more time to maybe storm those probes yet again. Harley trying to do a lot with a little, finding any kind of comeback potential in this game, but loses that shuttle, unfortunately. Not going to be able to find the kind of game-ending economic damage required to slowly claw her way back into this game. But even if she did somehow manage to kill all of these probes of Kim, there's just still such a huge standing army for Kim to keep fighting here that losing these probes will not be able to amount to a victory for Hani anytime soon, at least for another 5 to 10 minutes. So yeah, unfortunately, I think this is going to be a big victory for Team Bisu, and Kim's going to be wiping out Hani in the coming minutes.
That's a lot of Archons. They are very, very good in these late game situations. Dragoons, of course, having a critical mass is important, but those Archons will cut through everything else. All the zealots, and they do deal pretty well with the storms. They have a very high HP. Actually, shield health is very good against you know, these storms here. Blasting through. Hani taps out. GG is called, and a Team Bisu picks up their first win. Well then, on to game number 2. Got Mini versus Saxery here on Tempest, and it's looking like a Forge fast expand from Mini on high ground. How do you feel about that, Shun?
I think it's a wise choice. You might as well take advantage of this high ground. Definitely better for the more passive defensive approach. Don't need to really go for the pressure play. Ooh, okay, throws down the gateway. I did not expect that. I actually kind of felt like he was going to go for the Forge here. My original instinct was maybe he'd still go for the pressure play and go for gateway anyway because it's unsuspected, and Saxery probably wouldn't anticipate that. But seems like, yeah, he's going to be wanting to play very aggressive here.
Yeah, usually when you send out the probe right away after the pylon, that indicates a Forge fast, but he was just checking for an Overlord coming down from the top right and then comes back for the gateway. That's an interesting optimization just for this map, that you can get over there and check for the Overlord and then get back to your natural in time to throw down the gateway. So I like it. Mini, the king of optimization, is going to be optimizing this build very well, and he's going to get over here and see that actually Saxery's cross map, and that's not going to favor his gateway opener here.
Yeah, thinking about it, like it's like on a map like Polypoid or something, you don't quite have enough time to like get over there, check, and come back and still do the gateway. But on this map in these positions, for example, yeah, like, I can see that this optimization is actually pretty nice for the gateway fast expand. It's kind of interesting to see that, and it's like gateway Mini kind of showing us that you can still go for these crazy optimizations with these early probe scouts. But obviously, depending on the geography of the map, you do need to kind of cut all your corners. Still, you can't really just do this on every single map, but Looks like Mini being very annoying right now, blocking this third hatchery from going down from Sanctuary as well. And I think so far Mini has kind of won the early game optimizations, but obviously that doesn't really amount to too much for the time being. But if he can block this third hatchery going down for much longer, it's going to be a big deal. And he is blocking the hatchery going down. Saying this is starting to be annoying now.
Yeah, the drone just kind of dancing a little bit. Super annoying. You definitely don't want to see it. He's gonna come back and try to take it. I wish he would just go to the bottom left and just play a turtle game from that high ground. Take the third base down there. It seems to be what Mini actually wants Saxery to do. So you know you never want to do what your opponent wants you to do, but at this point it's like you're actually shooting yourself in the foot by not throwing down that hatchery yet. And these two zealots are gonna get in here. 4 Lings, not enough to take them on, especially with the probe to assist. Hopefully there's a bunch of Lings popping in the main right now. Otherwise, he's gonna take some serious damage. Getting onto those drones here. Might end up getting a couple of kills. So far, pretty good micro by Saxery, but this does get worse.
Yeah, he is also target firing this probe down with a single link. Is going to be taking that out very wisely, forcing these zealots to have to try and retrieve. But this zealot in the natural expansion, though, getting another drone kill and causing a lot of headache for Saxery to have to deal with. Another zealot also rallied across the map right now. And these two zealots behind the mineral field going to be forcing quite a big trade as well. So far, everything going Mini's way, forcing a 2-on-1 trade with these zealots. So getting a lot of damage with these zealots early game and forcing Saxery into a worst case scenario as much as possible. Meanwhile, trying to come in with more zealots just in case Saxery was being greedy and didn't make additional links. But it looks like Saxery now wants to go on the counter attack and kind of punish Mini a little bit, because Mini hasn't started a cannon right now, and these Zerglings could put on a little bit of pressure, maybe even force a shield battery at the front.
Yeah, you can definitely counter attack in this situation. It's a bit desperate here for Saxery. He's going to come in and try to get up this ramp, but he can't actually get past these zealots. Maybe he can hit that forge. Not sure what he's going to do with this number of Lings now. Maybe transferring back into a Macarium. There's a Hydralisk Den. He does need to pop out a few more drones, but he's definitely going for an all-in attack here.
Yeah, okay, so one option there was flooding Lings to try and overwhelm the Protoss player. Instead, he's trying to catch these zealots, stop them from scouting, so he can try and end the game with a Hydra Bust instead. Has got enough Zerglings to keep the scouting from getting visibility on these Hydras. Does get a fairly good surround on the zealots behind these minerals, but not quite good enough to get the best trades he would like to have had. Nothing's really gone well for Saxery this game, but if Mini doesn't smell this Hydra Den coming, he will be in a little bit of a precarious spot, because even though he has got this advantageous high ground natural, he does need more than one cannon to defend against the Hydra Bust. And even though Saxery's kind of had a few drones sniped, he will eventually get up to this 973 saturation and will be having some kind of timing with these Hydras. They won't be the most potent of timing, but if Mini just doesn't smell this at all and doesn't react to it, he can still just die here.
Absolutely, you can. And Hydras are popping out now. I'm a little worried for Mini, who's actually breaking down his egg here at the bottom of this wall. Lings could actually run by there, and also we could have Lings block on the right hand side and Hydras run up on the on the top side, stop the zealots from moving out, and then the Hydras could come in and just snipe that cannon. But hold up, things are changing here. Zealots are heading out on the map in kind of a strange pattern, and he's gonna come in with this Overlord. He sees one zealot at home. He could probably just break this right now, but at the same time, those zealots are gonna come and kill that third base. Here we go, running up with the Hydras. He's gonna be able to gun down this cannon really fast. Lings are fighting with the zealots. He's got to target the second cannon here right now. Great positioning here, but the probes are completely surrounding all of the Hydras, but they're being gunned down very quickly. He's actually going to kill all of the probes here. One more zealot does pop out. 5 zealots make their way over towards that third base. He's going to be able to kite this last zealot here, killing off the last few probes as well. Does manage to make a citizen's arrest, killing off that one Hydra. A sunken colony, emergency sunken colony being thrown down here in the natural. Saxery on the verge of falling apart actually against just these zealots. He wants to finish the game right now, but he just doesn't have the numbers to hold off this attack and attack into Mini's base at the same time. Mini gonna lose this cannon once again, it looks like, and he might just be on the verge of tapping out here.
Yeah, there is a DT coming to ward away these Hydras, but there is an Overlord just waiting here to help grant detection of that and prevent that from becoming too much of an issue. Mini now in a little bit of desperation movement, coming back with these additional Zealots out on the map to kind of try and stabilize with the DPS of these DTs. Now going to have to do some kind of pincer maneuver on this Hydra link from both sides. DT's on the right, trying to DPS down the Hydras, but it's not quite enough to do a lot here. And unfortunately, one of those DTs went down in quick order. So far the Zealots don't have enough HP to be tanky and beefy enough to kind of like build some kind of defense here and give some kind of time to start making some cannons and start stabilizing the position. Maybe with good micro here, Mini can stabilize. Some cannons are starting to warp in. If these two cannons get in the back line, maybe there is some hope here for Mini coming forward. But Saxry is going to be making more and more units going to be coming across the map here. And I think only 3 of these cannons are going to be online by the time these reinforcing units arrive in the natural expansion. So it's actually going to be wanting to target fire down this forge and start to open up a bit more of a concave to use against the remainder of these cannons. And the cannons are in a pretty bad spot here, so we can kill one at a time from the left. So not the most ideal position of these cannons as well for Mini. So Saxry's still in a bit of a driver's seat and can finish the game anytime insane.
Ooh, DTs are coming out here. That Overlord is very low, but it does manage to survive, so these DTs can't really deal that damage. They did kill off quite a few Hydras, but once again, enough Hydras here to push forward. He kills the Forge. I think we've got enough cannons here, but looking at the supply, Mini is definitely behind.
Yeah, I mean, right now Saxry can just make hatcheries and drones and transition to a very normal game. So many cannons have been forced out of Mini that he really did invest a lot into this defense and not dying, that he's very slowed down right now. He does have his Templar Archives online, but we have like pretty much no gateway production to fall back on. There is a DT coming into the third base and only 2 Hydras to defend, but I don't think that DT had full HP, so it's going to have to shy away from those Hydras. And yeah, it looks like he's not going to find too much damage for his efforts there, but not the biggest of drone saturations for Saxry thus far, but he will be making up for that in short order. So there's a small room here for Mini to stabilize and come back in this game. But I would say overall, this kind of favored Saxry quite significantly.
I definitely agree with that assessment. Saxry here, he had a very difficult situation to work with. He was on the ropes there for quite some time. The damage in the early game from those first few Zealots put him in such a position he really didn't have a choice but to go into something aggressive. Now we see the Spire. He's going to continue that aggression, throwing down additional gases here and going to pop out some mutas, which I don't think Mini has the answer for right now. I can't imagine him building a Dark Archon and making Maelstrom at this point.
No, probably not staying, but what we may be seeing is him just having to make Archons and trying to hope that he can somehow hold on. It's going to be like a Zealot Archon army with Storms, and I don't think that's going to be ideal for Mini. I think he's going to really struggle in this game going forward. He's going to try and put on a little bit of pressure now, but there's just too much Hydra and too much Simplicity. There's the Dark Archon, though. You were a little bit wrong there saying he's going for it. He knows he has to make some kind of effort to hold on against the potential of Muta snipes on these High Templars and such, so he is going to be just kind of doubling down in that anti-Muta threat. Maybe somehow he can swing the game back in his favor with a huge tempo play of just, maelstroming that big clump of Mutas and storming them down, or using an Archon Sonic shock to just take them out. So, but unfortunately, I don't think he's going to find it easy either. So still not out of the woods yet, but coming in with these 5 Zealots, putting a little bit of pressure, just testing the waters, keeping Saxry honest, making sure these units are remaining back at home and chilling with the Sim City, and forcing Saxry to be pinned down for the time being while he himself builds up.
I'm pleasantly surprised and happy to be wrong in this situation. That's I mean, Mini's got a great head on his shoulders, man, to make that call in such a desperate situation where you're already behind, you're having a hard time. He's gone ahead and just built this Dark Archon. I don't know how much energy is available here, but if he gets this first Maelstrom and just snipes down all of these Templar, that could be a route to really getting back in this game and actually putting himself in a good position once again. Here we go. Dark Archon doesn't have the energy. I don't see a Maelstrom coming out. He must not have 100 yet. There it is. Oh, he's got it, but he doesn't have maybe the upgrade didn't come through. No upgrade here? Oh, I think looks like he's trying to throw it down, but he doesn't get it. Very rough stuff here for Mini. He just didn't have that Maelstrom, either the upgrade or the energy at the correct time there. Is Saxry going to get away with killing a couple of probes in the main base here and killing the cannons and flying out with those mutas?
Yeah, it didn't quite have the upgrade finished. He was hiding the Archon as long as possible, waiting for the upgrade to finish. And he just barely didn't get it, and Saxry saw it, took advantage, realizing that it wasn't quite finished, took some damage, and even forced a storm on his own probes there from Mini. So Mini took quite a lot of damage during that, as well as not getting those mutas. So has kind of worked out for Saxry here, racing ahead in supply, which is very indicative of a very strong Zerg advantage in this matchup. Not very many mutas left out on the field, but more than enough to come in here and start baiting out some of these Maelstroms. There are only 4 mutas there, baiting out the Maelstrom and the Storm combo, so getting some value with just a handful of mutas here. Now going to come in with more to try and punish the High Templars and force out more Storms. Beautiful play from Saxry, reading Mini like a book here, and now there's just not enough Storms left over to fight these huge clumps of Hydra, as now Saxry takes control of this high ground peninsula and forces Mini into a little bit of a boxy situation.
Yeah, he's forced back up onto high ground here, and this is not the position you want to be as Mini. You'd love to be pushing out on the map and starting to put some pressure on, you know, taking big trades with those Hydras, letting down blanket storms. But great moves from Saxry, really impressive play from him, being able to bait out that Maelstrom and then utilize those extra mutas that were saved to pick off the last 2 Templar. Just makes it impossible for Mini to actually trade efficiently. And now he's coming out here to take this 4th, but Saxry making lurkers here. He's got so much supply to work with. He's even on supply here. He's got a huge clutch of Hydras here on this high ground. How can Mini take this game? He's gonna have to have the best trades you've ever seen. I just don't think that Saxry's going to give it to him.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, so far the pre-storm dodging's been pretty good. Pretty good storm there from Mini, though, but it looks like Saxry's kind of ahead of the game with that and kind of keeping his Hydras as pre-split as possible, forcing slightly of a bad skirmish from Mini, not allowing him to get that critical damage that he needs to start coming ahead in those trades. So Saxry maintaining his small lead for the time being, but is kind of giving ground to Mini to take this 3rd base for the time being. So he might be wanting to kind of lure Mini into a false sense of security here and then go for a Battle Zerg finale where he just kind of swarms him with pure Hydra Lurker and just overwhelm him. Or he could be trying to transition into a Hive, but I feel like it might be the former, where he wants to try and put a little bit of pressure onto Mini soon. But he does definitely have the luxury of just transitioning into Hive right now if he so chooses.
Yeah, it's looking like a Hive. We've got the Queen's Nest here, so Hive is going to come down. 4th base is up and mining right now for Saxry. This high ground position cannot be underestimated. You really can't leave with your army here as Mini, because that high ground is just so close to the 3rd base here. Immediately, as soon as the army leaves, he can just quickly switch on the aggression, run down that ramp, and start to hit that base. So Mini really has to be careful here. Oh, great storm. Really good storm there, dealing so much damage to these Hydras. He might be able to grab this base, but at the same time, coming up with that army, like I said, just diving onto this 3rd base here, and he's hitting from multiple angles to make it really hard for Mini to defend on both sides. Looks like his army is going to come back here, but look at how much Saxry's managed to put together. He's going to be overwhelming this position. We do have a few more storms here coming up this ramp, but Saxry making some great moves. He's gonna stop this 4th base from going down. Although he didn't manage to break the 3rd, killing the 4th is just as good here.
Yeah, he's dragging the army away from the front line to the 6 o'clock position, then attacking the front line, forcing the army back to that position to then defend that, and then coming in and counter-attacking the 6 o'clock yet again, kind of like keeping Mini in both places at once and dragging him around and forcing him to spread himself too thin in one location. And now Mini's starting to come back down to 6 o'clock, and here comes Saxry again for another blow onto the front line, just kind of keeping Mini having to bounce back and forth from these 2 locations as much as possible and keeping his attention spread quite as thinly as possible. So far, Saxry doing a really good job of taxing Mini to the absolute limit here. Might even be able to catch this Dark Archon if Mini's not careful, wants to be not wanting to lose too many of these critical tech units, because they can still come in a big handy for him in these big fights coming up. One Maelstrom can be enough to turn the tide of a game. So Looks like so far Mini doing a good job of weathering the storm, but it's actually just so relenting in these assaults and coming down here and sniping as many of these critical units as possible and keeping many supplies low and as manageable as possible, simplifying the game state by preventing the Protoss player from acquiring a critical mass of Dragoons required to finally break out from this position.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to break up this ramp either. Saxry knows it. He's just going to continue to rally straight here to the middle of the map, sending small armies around the side as well. Just continue to deny that fourth base there. He hasn't been able to break this yet, but we're losing so many important units here as Mini, and the supply lead is growing for Saxry right now. If Mini manages to win this game, he is an absolute god. This is such a difficult position to work with.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty rough going forward from here. He does need to put on some kind of counter pressure, but it's just too taxing for him to do so. So what he needs to do right now is just like stabilize the front line as much as possible while getting up the fourth base. But it's becoming untenable because now the Defiler's out, and once the Dark Swarms start coming out, the Archons and Dragoons lose their potency, forcing Mini to have to be a lot more aggressive with his trades. And that's exactly what Sanctuary wants, because now he can just kind of pull the trigger and get on top of these positions more and more. And the only real way he can fight back against this is just really good storming underneath these dark clouds of Dark Swarm to keep the lurkers from coming too close to these positions so he can deny the mining at this third base. But so far it's looking like Sanctuary is going to be successful in coming in here and mopping this position up if Mini's not careful, we're saying.
Yeah, I think this is going to be it. The Dark Swarm, well timed here. He pushes forward. He's going to take out that third Mini on his last legs here against a 5 base Zerg. How could you possibly win here as Protoss? I just don't think it's going to happen. Mini kind of processing the loss here. He was the team captain of Team Bisu. He handed over the mantle, and he's gonna have to hand over his pro gamer card here. Saxry just taking him down, not allowing the previous team captain to get a win. That's rough, but at least we're gonna have an even match here. Saxry taking down Mini means it's gonna be 1-1, and going forward, you know, Team Heroes looking better and better.
Yeah, it looks like Saxry's going to be hole punching that card for Mini, and Mini's not going to be happy having a piece of that card being reduced to nothing. And more Mini's starting to lose a little bit of his formidability and his potency as a gamer. Maybe his time has finally started to come to an end, but hopefully not. Hopefully we can see more from this guy, but right now it's looking like he's a faded man of a faded shadow of his former glory, and maybe in a little bit of a disarray here. Finally calling GG as Mini.
We're talking about Mini like he's a dying breed or something. This man is insanely good, especially in this matchup. It's just really impressive what Saxry has been able to do here in taking him down. He's got to be feeling very, very nice about that. Saxry, not like ASL finalist material. It's not even, you know, I think he's like round of 16 material maybe, but Mini, an absolute champion, and he's just taking him down in this best of 1. He's got to be feeling great as we go into game number 3. All right, well, rip Mini, the former team captain. He goes down to Saxry. A big upset there. We'll see if Mighty can get up an upset here as well versus Mong on La Campanea. Have another, or our first PVT of the night on this map. There's a big chance here that Mighty could pull something off.
Yeah, I don't think that Mong is too strong of a caliber player for Mighty to handle. I think Mighty definitely able to take on the likes of Mong. Mong is a very strong macro player though, so if you do let him get going, maybe he'll be a little bit too tough for Mighty to handle, so you might want to try and be a little bit more technical and aggressive in the earlier stages of the mid game to maybe try and overpower Mong before he does get into those crazy mid to late game stages where he's just such a monster of a macro player.
Yeah, I think you kind of have to, as the Protoss player on this map, take advantage of those mineral patches at the natural, you know, get something behind there, Reaver, or, you know, shuttle some Dragoons back there or whatnot, what have you, just to get that early damage, because as a macro player like Mong, if you're allowed to just build up naturally here, you're going to be able to get into a decent position where you can move forward and take that third base down at 6 o'clock. Oh, doesn't steal the gas there. Mong just barely getting that down. And that's a big win for him. He's not going to lose this timing here with the gas. He's going to be able to get his factory on time. And yeah, what I was trying to say is that you can move forward just a little bit to the right of this screen. And you don't have to move out far before you can go ahead and just snag that third base. Oh my god, Mighty. He's going to go for a bust here. He's going to go and build a robo right in front of his opponent's base. Let's see if Mong figures out about this.
Yeah, I can't believe he didn't get the gas steal as well. Like, he barely got the 2 mineral extra cycles in to make that gas like a frame before the assimilator got warped in. Great stuff there from Mong denying that gas steal. But yeah, like you say though, here comes the robo at the front, going to be putting on a lot of pressure. Now, even with the bunker, it doesn't matter, that Reaver's going to shred through that bunker in very short time, and eventually will be busting open this natural. So Mong is going to be in a little bit of trouble unless he can sniff this out very quickly.
If this bunker was placed right next to the robo there, this would have been easily shut down, but Mong just does not know about this right now. He's got a Dragoon in his face. That's going to be denying any scouting from now on. And another gateway going down here at the front. He's really committing to this play, and he's just cleaned up the SCV on his side of the map. So Mong doesn't really have too much information here either. Shield battery as well. Okay, interesting. Going to be warping that in at the front. Should help with these Dragoons. He's not going to have range here. He's just going for this quick Reaver. Bust open that bunker and then take the game with just a few, you know, no range Dragoons here. But I think Mong's got to start getting a little bit suspicious here, not seeing those Dragoons hit that bunker just yet.
Yeah, and there's also this additional gateway that's been thrown down at the front, all the way to the right of that pylon, making it even harder to spot, and going to be affording Mighty quite a sizable amount of Dragoons in the front to come in here and snipe this first tank, as well as having the artillery robo support from the Reaver. Is going to be really potent for Mighty coming into this early game phase. And now the shuttle's already active and going to be dropping some goons into the main base as well, and putting on a lot of pressure to Mong as his first tank comes out.
Ooh, this is going to be hard, man. Mong, he's building a second bunker. He cancels it. And now he's going to send some Marines into the main base, but he's going after the machine shop here. A really interesting move. Starting to drop Dragoons here in the main. That first tank pops out. That's a really important tank. Dragoons are actually going to start to go down here. First Dragoon does fall. A second Dragoon is actually completely surrounded. He's going to drop the Dragoons on top of the tank. Can he actually get this tank? Big repair here, but I think he might be able to get it. Oh, the repair! Ho ho! Huge repair there from Mong.
Wow, Mong holding on there just barely by the skin of his teeth, and that could come in huge. He has got 3 SCVs coming up the line to quickly start repairing his bunker as the Reaver scouts start to DPS it down. He might have to evacuate. I don't think he's going to get enough repair, and he does lose that bunker, has to retreat back to the safety of his main base. Siege mode finally coming online. Needs to evacuate this natural expansion, though. Here comes Mighty just shutting down the mining in this natural with this shuttle bulldog play. Needs to be extremely careful now. Mong, one misstep and it can spell disaster. Needs to also not lose too many of these SCVs to any of this Reaver play, as now Mong wants to come in and start to do some damage to this tank on the western side. Does get one good Scarab and shot off, but not quite enough to do it without losing the Dragoon. So it does lose the Dragoon for the effort, but trading one Dragoon for one tank is a huge benefit for Mighty right now. Mong hasn't got many tanks to work with, only got 2 tanks out at one time, and if he keeps losing one of these tanks every so often, he's never going to have enough tanks to defend. Here comes Mighty with a big bust now, saying
the Great Wall of Mong has been set up here, but look at that. Reaver does manage to get 2 shots off. 2 shots from the Reaver will take out that first tank. He's going to repair this tank here at the bottom. One Reaver very low here, but he's dropping them out of range. Okay, first Reaver does go down. Gonna have to retreat with this command center as it's getting very low. Now gonna push up to this bunker and hold position. I think Mong is gonna hold on for now, but so much damage has been done. Mighty gonna be able to take his own Nexus. He's not doing it though. He's just building more units and trying to break through here. Ooh, great dodge from that shot. He's gonna get another shot from this Reaver, picking off that tank, limiting him just down to 1 tank here. 4 Dragoons. This is enough to 2-shot this tank, so maybe he decides to dive here. This is a really wild game from Mighty, and he's just about broken Mong right now.
Yeah, kind of going back to what I was saying before, he's limiting to only 1 or 2 tanks at any given time, and as soon as the tank comes out, he then goes in for the skirmish play, trying to snipe off this tank and keeping the defenses as limited as possible for Mong, not affording him much weight in the way of stabilization here, forcing him to constantly throw resources at this wall to try and defend, like you say, the Great Wall of China. But as we know, that wall has been around for quite some time, and it is a little bit eroded. It hasn't been in a state of repair for quite some time, and here comes the Dragoons. Are trying to get on top of this position. Does find a way inside, does get 1 volley on the tank, 2nd volley goes down, takes out the tank, reducing the tank out just to 1. But the good SCV drill is going to also back away the remaining Dragoons, and with these other 2 siege tanks actually doing a good job of trading. It loses the shuttle as well critically. Some of the SCVs does go down to the Scarabs, but unfortunately not going to be able to finish off killing that tank. So Mong so far stabilizing. Mighty taps out GG, putting a point on the board for Team Hero. Let's go.
Wow, an intense game there. Mong building the turret underneath his command center was such a clutch move. Did you see that? That turret was blocking those Dragoons quite badly, and as that turret finished up, it picks off the shuttle and just shuts down that play. Ooh, what a wild game there. We rarely see one like that, but Mighty bringing some intense aggression and Mong just barely hanging on. Set number 4, we've got the bus driver here, Bora. Gonna be taking on Denzi. Kadenzi, oh my gosh, she's gone for a 6 pull. Are you serious?
Wow. Okay, well, yeah, I'm not so sure Bora has even considered this. I think that Bora probably hasn't even considered 4 or 6 pull. I imagine 9 pull, definitely. 7 pull speed definitely was a consideration, but maybe definitely wouldn't go for a 14cc here in just in lieu of maybe being 5 pulled or 4 pulled, but I really doubt that 6 pull was very seriously considered as being an option here from Denzi, so it might catch Bora extremely off guard. It's going to be making that barracks more or less in the standard position though, so it's still a defendable one. If this is scouted correctly, and the Overlord may be scouted quite early with the SCV timing going out here, so maybe be able to identify this quick enough that not too much damage will be sustained. So with a good SCV pull from Bora, maybe fine here.
Yeah, this doesn't look good. I think that Denzi was probably thinking, what if Bora's in the bottom left? If she's in the bottom left, she's probably going to make a wall at the front. If you make a wall at the front, 6 pull will just end the game, but unfortunately, up here at the top left, nice block there with the drone. Might get the moving shot. Oh, just barely not. And she's gonna see these Lings coming, so she will be able to pull SCVs and try to block this this little choke here as the first Marine pops out. Should be able to do that. Bunker is coming down. All right, she's taking this very, very seriously. Bora just gonna buy some time here at this opening just for the Marine to get out and get into that bunker.
Yeah, Denzi's already like popping out some drones as well. So she's by no means fully all in. This is like a semi all in right now, trying to get some damage done for these Lings while she transitions. Now going to be throwing down the hatchery and the natural expansion as well, but so far going to be just forcing a lift off from this barracks, not getting too much done, but it can be a bit of a technical situation where she won't be too far behind, especially if she can somehow come in here with these Lings and maybe find an SEV snipe or 2, especially if she slows down any kind of buildings from Bora here, like forcing repairs on this supply depot. He's a very good forcing out the repair builds. The Marines will come off the bunker and now be caught off in the mineral line, maybe catching out one of the SCVs as well. So there's very small, very good pockets of damage to be found with these Lings still for Denzi. So far, Bora doing a good job of stabilizing, losing some of these SCVs though to these Lings. I think 2 went down already. Has done a good job of losing any more thus far, but trading 2 SCVs is a pretty good evening of the game state for Denzi. It's not the best case scenario for her, but I would say she's slightly evened out the curve of this game by doing that.
Yeah, she gave herself an opportunity there to win the game, but now she's in quite the deficit, making up a little bit of that by killing off a couple SCVs, but I definitely rate Bora as ahead right now. Bora gonna be grabbing her command center. After killing all those lings, it's like, well, she's probably not going to make more lings, right? Might as well just take this base. And she's going to be right in that assumption. Almost getting one more SCV, but not quite. Yeah, getting a supply depot in this type of situation is so good. I'm surprised that Bora put the supply depot on the left-hand side there, but it ends up working out. She holds off everything, and she's going to be able to take this into a normal game from here. And in an advantageous position, I don't know what Kadenzi can do. Is she just going to go all in Muta here, or what's the plan? What's the game plan? What's the follow-up from the 6-pool, or the 6-pool fail?
Well, basically, yeah, some kind of like 2-hatch Muta all in, or 2-hatch into 3-hatch Muta all in would be pretty good choices, especially on this map, given the positions. The natural expansion would be quite hard to defend against the Mutalisk harass for Bora here, so I would like her to go for the 2-hatch Muta all in play here. I think she kind of has to as well with how low her economy is and the game state. There is still some opportunity for her to fake a 2-hatch Muta all in and go for like a 3rd hatchery and then try and end the game, but either way, I feel like she has to kind of really double down into this Mutalisk control early game and try and find some damage that way and somehow seek an advantage to secure a lead to win, but it's going to be tough.
Yeah, I feel like one huge thing to mention is that when you are in this weird situation where you've gone for a 6-pool and it's been held off, that type of thing, Terran's not going to really know when those Mutalisks are coming. So blocking the SCV from getting into the main and figuring out how far along the layer and the Spire are is actually huge, and she didn't manage to do that. So right now, Bora knows exactly how far along this Mutalisk tech is, and these Lings getting in here and getting some kills on Marines is actually pretty big before the Mutalisks come. However, we've still got 2 bunkers here. Bunker in the main, bunker in the natural, and we're going to have turrets popping up pretty soon as well. If she could delay turrets, that would be massive. But it seems like she's just not going to be able to. She's going to hit this gas for a bit. The Marine's going to come out here and push that away.
Yeah, the Ling attack was definitely a cute idea. With a slightly better execution, maybe she could have found a little bit more significant damage. She does catch a few of those Marines and slightly delays the turret timing, but nothing too dangerous here for Bora. The Mutalisk timing is already delayed enough that she may give you this medic if she's not careful. She does manage to pick that medic off. It's actually a pretty sizable pick considering there's only 2 medics available right now. We'll not be wanting to make any more medics for quite some time, so using that one medic is a little bit of a big deal. For Bora, it will provide some stability issues coming forward. That medic's already low on energy now, so it'll be tough for her to trade any kind of sustained harassment from Denzi. So Denzi's now going to come into natural expansion and put the pressure on, and with only 1 medic available with low energy, it's going to be tough for the Marines to come in here and bully away these mutas if these turrets are not going to be able to go down uncontested. So a little bit of a weird situation for Bora right now, not quite getting these turrets up in time. Gives a window to Denzi to come in here and start putting a lot of pressure on target, firing down these SCVs one at a time, forcing as many resources to be invested into this defense, while she still can take advantage of that. Wants to also start sniping the Marines to reduce the bio count. Only 1 medic available will make it very difficult for these Marines to be healed back up to full, so can just keep coming in here and bullying this bio force before the turrets become stabilized. But one of those mutas does go down.
Muta goes down and that turret doesn't get finished off as well, so that position has kind of been secured here for Bora. You really need to be aggressive with these mutas if you're going to go for this 2-hatch play. You cannot allow the Terran player to fully stabilize here. You have to keep some area open. You have to keep some options open where you can actually come back in. And she is going to come in here and kill that turret now, but that was a lot harder than it needed to be.
Yeah, definitely a lot harder than it needed to be. It has got a pretty good stabilization here with this bunker and turret on the bottom of the CC, but it's still a big arc to be exploited by those mutas. It's a very difficult position to hold against mutas of how close those minerals are to that cliff edge. Now coming into the natural the main base though, with this production line, only 2 turrets defended by a few handful of Marines. Denzi now can overrun this position. There's not enough forces defending this production line. She's going to get on top of the barracks, so once she's on top of the Terran production line, it'll be very difficult for Bora to stabilize. Now going to be really feeling the pain. She has this bunker tucked between the barracks and the CC, providing her some kind of support and some kind of lifeline in this game, but Denzi's going to stay on top of these barracks and force some liftoffs and be very annoying to Bora right now.
Yeah, forcing these liftoffs is huge. It's huge, and There's too many Mutalisks here now where the Marines just can't really engage with it. I think we're above 11 mutas now, maybe at that 11 muta count. So more than one group of muta here. Gonna go after the starport as well, delaying that tech. All right, things are really starting to look up for Cadenzi now. She could drone from here. She could just keep putting on the pressure, but I think going for drones and going for a third base probably going to be the better option. Going to dive on this bunker right now. I don't know about this play. You might end up losing a lot more mutas and kind of losing the momentum here if you don't kill this bunker.
She actually missed micro. She had the mutas like targeted onto the bunker and they didn't fire. She actually missed their opportunity to kill the bunker. It was already on half HP, but the mutas missed one of their volleys, so she actually misplayed a little bit there as well. Got to be instead trying to, like, you know, console herself with taking out this engineering base, stopping the supply, the upgrade, sorry, from finishing, and now targeting the academy as well. Is going to probably still take this game with these tactical plays, not wanting to reinvest and double down on killing that bunker. Now swinging back around to the natural expansion, wanting to take this bunker out. If she can kill this bunker, she just needs links to kill this base. So she's now done the job of being able to shut down this base as well with pure Ling reinforcements, as the mutas can cut off the bio from coming in to save that. So now GG finally being called as the checkmate comes in from Denzi.
Yeah, nice job there. Checkmating this Terran player by killing off that bunker. Lings will just endlessly flow in, fight those SCVs, and eventually overwhelm the position. So Bora taps out. A great game there from Cadenzi, managing to maneuver out of that failed 6 pool into a win. I guess it's not a failed 6 pool if you can transition out of it, is it?
Right, and yeah, if you identify that you failed the 50-50, you know you're going to be scouted first, you can just make those initial like 6 to 8 links and immediately start getting drones very early on and transitioning and just hoping that you can snipe just a handful of SCVs to maybe make up for that deficit.
All right, hopping on into our next one. Team Hero looking very, very good here. Team Hero taking a big lead now, 3-1. Not how I anticipated this night going, but Hero definitely drafting a strong squad, and Cadenzi showing up big this week. Able to take down Bora there. Now we've got Sharp versus Tyson, cross maps here on Retro. I think this is going to be a long match here.
Yeah, I hope it is going to be a long match here. I do hear some screams from the Ape battle bus in the background there, like a little bit of a disagreement there, a bit of a odds and ends as the Protoss players, struggle to come to terms with the fact that they're 3-1 down in this lineup, and I think they're trying to figure things out here. Maybe they can shape some tools that the opponents haven't seen yet to overwhelm them. And I'd like to see Tyson manage to take on Sharp here, but Sharp's such a strong player that I don't think he's going to get an easy win out of this. I think we're going to see a very, very long tactical game here from both players.
Sharp, absolutely capable of putting on early game aggression, but his real ace in the hole is his vulture control and the ability to get damage with those units. Always able to slip in somehow with those vultures. Those little bikes are slippery as heck, and Tyson gonna have to be really, really careful and how he defends his probes. But cross map PVT here. Who do you think this favors? Is this a Protoss favored or a Terran favored positioning?
You know what, I've thought about it quite some time. I guess it actually depends on the perspective of the players and their play styles. There's probably some Terran players that really like this because it kind of simplifies their expansion paths and how they will go about the mid-game phase, whereas there's some players that probably also like the idea of being a bit more forward-thinking and, say, controlling the base near the Protoss player and wanting to play, like, expanding initially towards the Protoss player and then away from the Protoss player after securing that initial foothold. Yeah, it comes down to the preference of playstyles, I would say, but cross map, I think, overall favors Protoss simply because you can kind of get away with very greedy Nexus timings, and they're very difficult to punish that. But with this engineering blade block, Sharp's just saying, hello, it doesn't matter that you're cross map, I'm still going to delay you anyway. So I love this response from Sharp, kind of negating the fact that he wants to go for this early Nexus. And in response to that, we see the very, very common response of just throwing down a Citadel and going for a DT tech play into expansion after the fact.
Well, this is a bit of a gamble here. You don't know if Sharp's going to expect this or not. You could get a free win with those DTs, if you manage to sneak a couple of them into the base undetected, I think the Sharp's gonna go for a Vulture expand here, and he should be getting mines going pretty early. And as I've said before, he's very, very good with the Vultures, so he should have a chance here to stop this DT play from doing a massive damage. But we'll see if this has a robo component to it as well, because if you go for that DT drop, you can do a lot more damage. First Vulture's gonna come in here, take a look around. Not gonna allow that to run up the ramp. If that Vulture got in, that would be like lights out for Tyson here.
Oh, absolutely. I was a bit worried as well. He's going to take 3 shots on the Vulture, but only took 2, take it down to 50 HP. You definitely do want to keep as much HP on these Vultures as possible. The first mines that they can lay are just oh so valuable. You might think that just losing this like 75 mineral units not that big a deal at the start of the game. I can promise you it is, because it's not just the fact that it's this Vulture you're losing, but you're losing the 3 mines that it can lay for very critical scouting information out on the map in the early game, especially for dealing with things like DTs early on and catching these Dragoons and keeping them pinned down in their base and feeling unsafe until observers are out. It's very important that you don't lose these early Vultures in this game.
He's gonna go ahead and throw down some spotting mines here around, but the real story here is Tyson has gone for Robo, right? He's gonna have that shuttle very soon with a couple of DTs in it heading across the map, and it'll be up to Sharp to defend against it. He's got the Academy out here. Having the Academy out is big. Means he's gonna have some scans here to potentially take out this DT. Now the DT is actually running forward. It's gonna walk into a mine, I think, or maybe not. Where's this DT going right now? Is it gonna slip by this mine?
I think it will, just because of the natural path thing, because now that he gives it another move command, it will naturally avoid the mine. So yeah, I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but either way that works out in Tyson's favor. So he's going to be dodging this mine. If he goes all the way to 6 o'clock and then wraps around, there's only 2 mines on that path. So if he also somehow like manages to maneuver his DT to not take full splash damage from the mines, maybe something can be done with this initial DT here. I don't know.
One scan goes down, it sees everything that Tyson is doing. So Sharp gonna start to prepare here. An engineering base on the way. Shuttle's coming across the map. No damage so far. I think that Sharp's gonna be okay as long as he can finish his engineering bay and get a turret out here in time.
Yeah, it looks like this DT is just here to kind of be annoying, a threat out on the map, and also delay a greedy third from being taken by the Terran player, which would be a viable strategy if you weren't concerned about dying. You can just go for a very quick third as Terran and kind of punish the Protoss player that way. It's very rare that you see Terrans go for that, but there are a lot of situations where it is a very good style to go for, getting that really greedy third as Terran. Instead, they're going to be going all the way into Goliaths to ward away this shuttle play, and seeing the timing of this base being thrown down at 12 o'clock is exactly at 7 minutes, which is very standard and non-greedy, so he doesn't necessarily feel any pressure to do anything special here. He can still just take his third base and feel pretty fine with his current game state, so we might not see anything too crazy out of Sharp besides some tactical plays to find some damage here.
Yeah, it looks like he'll be able to take that third base pretty scot-free here. No real option for Tyson right now to counterattack. He's only got a couple of gateways. He's got this drop with some DTs in it, but there are scans. And we've got Goliaths out here to shoot down the shuttle, so you have to be really, really careful with that unit. I'm surprised we don't see Sharp laying down mines over by that third base, because he's actually going to get denied here from taking that in a moment.
Well, interesting enough, saying he actually threw down 2 extra factories before making this CC and is moving out onto the map. So maybe he does want to put a little bit of pressure on. He's kind of like delaying this third base and saying that he wants to be more aggressive. So it seems like he actually does want to punish this third timing, which is kind of surprising to me actually. Maybe he feels like the army of Tyson will not be sufficient enough to defend against what he's doing here. Beautiful block though from these pilots, not going to let these vultures come in here and find some damage for free. Shuttle and units currently occupied at the third base location, so those vultures could have had a field day. Now Sharp rotating his army around, being as fluid as possible, coming over to the natural expansion, wants to set up some kind of contain here, maybe taking advantage of the fact that he's got these mines in a forward position, knows the exact positioning of the army, can now come in here and try and squeeze Tyson into an awkward spot. But there's only 2 tanks here, so if Tyson was good enough, he could get a good flank. those probes narrowly avoiding a huge detonation on those mines. Could have lost so many probes there. It was a big transfer, but now cutting off those probes from coming into mines really annoying, and also killing some of these goons from the eastern side. If Sharp can somehow set up in a big turtle position on the top of these bridge, maybe he could have done a lot of damage to Tyson here, but I think Tyson will still be able to snipe this tank, and a beautiful storm is going to be coming out, but these storms were not meant for units. These storms were meant to go on SCVs right now, so Sharp's doing a lot of damage to Tyson, and Tyson's looking like he's starting to fall apart, Sam.
Oh, that snipe on the observer was so big. That snipe on the observer was so clutch. He kills the observer and then makes these vultures work for him here, killing off so many dragoons with those mines. He's gonna get another hit there to just kind of deny this even further. We don't see that observer from Tyson. Oh, this is brilliant play from Sharp. I love it. Just showing how potent Terran player can be in the mid game with these kind of tactical moves, able to take out Tyson here with a 1-2 punch. This is impressive. Really impressive stuff from Sharp.
Yeah, it's kind of always impressive to see Sharp play. Like, he's a very stellar player. Certainly not like the highest caliber of player that we have seen here in KCM, but certainly always a treat to watch this guy play. Definitely plays at such a high caliber and very well executed. And we see here with a very good fundamental understanding of his current game state, even just using Singular and a couple of siege tanks here and there to just really push the positional advantage whenever he has an opportunity, and comes in with these vultures like this we see right here. Great tactical thinking here, just being as annoying as possible and using a lot, getting a lot done with such a small amount of units, and really just like taxing Tyson to the absolute limit. I think he understands that Tyson's just not the kind of caliber of player that can keep up with this kind of multi-pronged assault that we see here being levied against him from Sharp. And Sharp, like pun intended, is extremely sharp with how he cuts through his opponent's defenses and mines with these plays here.
He's actually closing in on the kill on this Nexus, and with the tank coming up here as well, I think he gets this. Oh man, Tyson, he was doing such a good job of holding everything off, but Sharp with that earlier observer snipe and the play with all the mass vultures and mines, seems like he's going to be able to get this Nexus, and he does. Targeting on the Nexus, very smart, managing to pick that off. He's even targeting the low health dragoons here. He's going to get this last dragoon, looks like. One more shot, he does get it. So good here for Sharp. He's going to get his third base going. Big storm drop coming through, but Wraith as well. Are you shitting me right now? Wow. Sharp is so good.
Sharp is just dropping the mic on Tyson right now. It's kind of insane to see. GG finally called from Tyson, putting another point on the board for Team Hero. Can you believe it, saying what are we seeing?
We're seeing the 8 bus getting driven right off the road. They've basically hit a tree at this point, and any recovery here is going to be hard fought. I don't know if any of these apes can change a tire or not. All right, terrible chimp references aside, I think the wheels have really fallen off for the Bisu squad here. We've got Bisu versus Hero now, and Hero on match point.
Yeah, looking pretty brutal. 4-1 up Team Hero right now. Match point. Just need one more point on the board to secure that victory. A little bit of a mountain to climb for Team Bisu, but if anyone can start that mountainous journey, it's going to be Bisu himself, the one currently wearing the captain band. Stole that off of Minizar, maybe rightfully so. That old timer kind of been a little bit rusty, I would say, against Saxry earlier.
Yeah, we're joking, but of course, losing a game to Saxery, it's such an important tournament here, the best of one. That's painful, man. That's painful. I definitely think Mini is a much higher caliber than Saxery. Should have been able to take that game, but a few mistakes were made, and it is what it is. It's a crazy matchup. Protoss versus Zerg. Tiny little mistakes can amount to a huge loss. Oh, yeah. What is this?
Wow, okay, I didn't expect this, but we're going to be seeing a 2-gate play from Bisu. And interestingly enough, we have one gateway that's forward, another one that's like much more further back. So when this Overlord does finally come in, he's going to think that maybe it's only just a single gateway that's very standard. He won't quite see this second gateway for at least some time, maybe not at all if the Overlord doesn't come in fully to check. So wow, this is a very technical style from Bisu, trying to throw Hero through a loop. And will Hero sniff this out? He may do so. Hero is a very, very experienced player, not usually easy to pull the wool over this guy's eyes, but Bisu might just be the guy to do it here, Sam.
Bisu pulling out something that we haven't really seen for quite some time. Double gateway in the front. I'm surprised. Yeah, I guess he puts that back just to kind of obfuscate his build here, try to hide that a little bit, but I feel like putting both gateways at the front makes a lot of sense because there's only one gap in between the two, and if you end up, you know, not dealing critical damage with these zealots, oh god, yeah, he's gonna see this right away. Yeah, if you don't end up doing critical damage with the zealots, then you could put one zealot in between the two gateways, and that's a complete wall. Probes being pulled here as well. What are we seeing?
I actually think that it worked perfectly that he made the gateways like that, saying because he was making a hatchery at the third base, which is certainly not what you want to do against this 2-gateway style. Just completely throwing Hero off guard. Now he doesn't have a hatchery in his natural expansion, which would have been a lot better. It does have a creep colony on the way. Now Panic spending 3 creep colonies all at the same time, trying to get some kind. He knows that 1 or 2 of them will be sniped no matter what. Needs to buy time with the links for some of these creep colonies to finish. Needs just 1 of these creep colonies to finish, at least ideally 2 though. Now one of them just finishing, starting to come off the other one as well. Pretty good surround on that other zealot, taking it down to pretty low HP. 2 of these zealots on dangerously low HP for Bisu. Bisu needs to be very careful on micro with this probe. The reinforcing zealot coming in though. There is a lot of zealots here, but one of them does get beautifully taken down by Hero. So far so good, and with these Sunkens finishing up, it might be very difficult for Bisu to come in here and overrun this position, so he's got to wait some time for some cycles of zealots to come down here to go in again, but he might be feeling quite confident and ballsy and might try and make something happen, but I really don't think he should go for it. I think he's thinking about he should come in here and snipe some of these drones, but I don't think he should go for it. I think he's going to be punished very severely if he tries to go for anything right now.
Yeah, it's time for Bisu to expand. He throws down the Nexus. He did a good job. I mean, he got 2 kills on the drone lines there, and then he also got forced out 2 sunken colonies. So that's 4 drones plus all the money that goes into the sunken colony. That's a significant delay for a Zerg player, and I think Bisu's going to be happy with this early game position.
Yeah, he's still eyeing up this drones though. He's trying to kind of like, you know, read the situation. Is it worth me coming in here and taking a swipe at these drones and risking losing these zealots? Because there is enough lings to wrap around my zealots, and there's 2 sunken colonies here, so it's really risky coming in here and trying to get 1 or 2 drone kills. But he may try and go for that, or at the very least keep Hero eyeballing his mini-map the entire time, making sure they're not doing just that and keeping him a little bit stressed about keeping an eye on that.
It's a good point. Keeping those right in front, making sure that Hero has to keep his attention over here on this location. Few lings are out now, ready to surround these zealots, try to get rid of them so he can take a 3rd base. He does need to get a 3rd going here pretty soon because Bisu's natural now just finishing up. He's going to be on even economy here pretty soon.
Yeah, Bisu understands the tactical position advantage that he has with these zealots. Like, using them for as long as he can to put on a little bit of pressure, and just when there's a critical mass of lings coming out, he then finds his way to this mineral, back of the minerals, to be as annoying as possible, and instead force the ling attention elsewhere, delaying this 3rd base for oh so long. And Bisu's going to be very happy about that. We do have a macro hatchery in the main base and hydrogen being thrown down, so Hero can kind of like find his way into the mid game with some kind of normalization, but it's going to be very difficult for him with this 3rd base being so late.
Yeah, luckily for him, or well planned, good decision making from Hero means he's going to have that extra macro hatch in the main base. That's gonna help him to re-drone here and to saturate that 3rd a little bit quicker. But yeah, you're totally right. Not having the 3rd base earlier here is really hurting him. He's not actually sending his drones over as well. Maybe a little tilted after this early game.
Yeah, he's definitely not going to be happy with it. I'm sure he's going to be somewhat able to keep it together and keep composed going forward, but he's certainly going to be really annoyed about this current position because it's certainly suboptimal for a player of his caliber. But he is going to be able to find his way into a somewhat normal game state that he can play from. He's a very talented player. He understands the game quite well, and he can have the adaptability to play pretty much anything he needs to find a victory. So he will find a win condition here against Bisu. It's just that Bisu does have a bit of an edge now that he can levy against him and slowly claw his way into a more advantageous position as time goes on. So Hero definitely has his back against the wall just a little bit here going forward, and Bisu has a little bit of control in the early game against him, which is exactly what you want to do as Protoss, because in the very early game it's usually Protoss that's on the back foot and the Zerg having all the control and fluidity. But right now Bisu's stealing that away with this early 2-gate play and getting this Corsair out as early as possible, keeping some Hydras pinned down while also maybe trying to snipe a few of these Overlords could be all that he needs to stay ahead in this game.
Yeah, getting a couple Overlords here is nice. He's putting some damage on the Overlord here in the main as well. I can tell you, as a Zerg player, this is one of the most annoying things. Trying to get rid of Corsairs when you only have slow Hydras. But you're doing a reasonable job here. He's going to force one of those Corsairs out of the main. This one's going to find another Overlord, though, here in the top right. And man, that's unlucky. Hero losing an Overlord in the top right, an Overlord in the center left, and one near the main as well. That's a lot of Overlord damage here so far, and as expected from Bisu, though.
Yeah, as expected, he's a very, very talented individual. This guy revolutionized this matchup, and he's the one that basically invented the modern styles you see today. They're modern variations of the old style that he has created long ago with the Forge Fast Expand and into Corsair with Templar tech as well. So he's basically the guy that revolutionized how Protoss approach this matchup with the fast expansion style, and the gateway fast expansion is just a different variation of that. Now we see Bisu going all the way up to 3 Corsairs, have a little bit more splash damage and defense going into potential Mutalisk switch coming on as well. So has got enough damage and harassment capability to come in here soon and put a lot of pressure on Hero, but he's going to be waiting for the Zealot's legs to kick in if he does come in here anytime soon. But Hero has set up pretty nicely. He's got enough Hydras and Sunkens at each of these locations that I don't think Bisu's going to fully commit hard. If he does, he probably will want to go to the 3rd expansion, but I don't think we're going to see a big attack from Bisu. I think he's going to be maybe putting on a little bit of pressure while taking his 3rd base.
I think Bisu looks at this and he judges that, yeah, okay, you've spent enough on defense. It's not going to be worth it to try and bust in here, and he's just going to keep roaming around the map looking for additional units to pick off. Little lings here and there, scouting lings, scouting Hydras, scouting Overlords around the map, but Hero's just sitting back at home across his bridges, and yeah, he's not really going to take a fight here, I think. Sees that Hydra clump across the bridge and goes, no, don't want any part of that, and Hero going to go ahead and start to drone up once again as Bisu takes his 3rd.
Yeah, I think from here on, I want to see what Hero's style is going to be. Does he want to just stay in lair tech and just focus on out-muscling Bisu in the mid-game? Or is he going to be just quickly getting out that Queen's Nest and Hive and just going into the super late game mode against Bisu? I'm not sure what he'd be more comfortable doing on this map. It'll be interesting to see. We do see quite a few macro hatcheries coming out. It's going all the way up to 6 or 7 hatcheries worth of production to get a big critical mass of Hydras to be able to use against Bisu. But Bisu being very active with these Corsairs being extremely annoying, coming in here and trying to kill as many of them as possible and forcing Hero to keep his Hydras back at home and defend rather than thinking about coming out to the map and putting any pressure on his 3rd base.
Yeah, he really can't do much here in terms of attack with all of these Corsairs just roaming around in his main. He's gone to Lurker here, so Lurker's going to be coming out for Hero. Where does he want to expand from this position, though? Because he needs a 4th base going.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of has to take this natural 4th on the high ground at 3 o'clock, I think, but he's probably not happy about it, but he understands that it's the most logical to take here, and he is going to be taking that. So it's not ideal, but it certainly is the most logical for him to take, given the unit flow and the high ground defensive position with the Lurkers. The only thing is the susceptibility to the low ground transition of storms and stuff to the worker line, so it's certainly not optimal for Zerg in this situation, but you kind of have to bite the bullet, I think.
Yeah, he's gonna bite that bullet and grab the fourth base over here in the center right. And I think this game is really going to come down to whether or not Hero can hold these bridges here. He's got 2 lurkers over on this side of the bridge. That's a good start, but he needs a lot more over here, and he also needs to have an army in position to hold off anything moving around the left-hand side. Beast is a little bit slow with his observers, so he's not going to be able to challenge this just yet. But he is sending the Zealots forward here. Hero he's actually pulling away from this from the center left and letting Bisu slip by. That's a little bit unfortunate.
Yeah, a little bit uncharacteristic there. I'm curious where he wants to set up this contain line, because he has to contain the bridges at the very least, but then he also has to think about where he's going to contain this high ground fourth. Does he want to play it close and try and contain the choke and prevent the fourth base ever being taken, or does he want to allow the fourth to be taken and just contain from the low ground and go into a super late game with this high play? It looks like thus far, though, he's electing to just keep all of his forces in the middle and kind of prevent the fourth going up at the top right, which I think that's what he's scared about. He's scared about the base going up at the top right, and then the ramp being cannoned up, and the storms being on that ramp being very difficult to come in here as Zergan cleared up. So he almost wants Bisu to expand at 9 o'clock, I think, and I think Bisu may do that anyway, but he definitely wants Bisu to expand there for when the hive comes online. I think we're going to start to see Hero come down now to this threshold to the south and start to set up this kind of contain on this like wide open arc here. Yeah, he'll be key the lurkers starting to set up in their position. I think he wants to play a much more passive, super late game style here against Bisu.
Yeah, just controlling the center is going to be Hero's main priority here. He's going to have to fight for it, though. Not going to get it for free. Big storms going down a lot of these Hydras, but the Hydras focusing down quite a few Dragoons, getting rid of that critical mass here. Lingers are starting to hit the field as well to just soak up some of this damage from these Dragoons. Lots more lurkers coming out here on the map, and a drop moving around the left-hand side. You're going to have to contend with that while dealing and holding this containment. That can be the most difficult thing in Zerg vs Protoss, when you're trying to hold a containment and then drops start going on back at home. All of your forces are being rallied to the front, and 4 DTs are going to come into the main.
Wow, yeah, there's nothing to sneeze at. It's really deadly. There's nothing here. There's not an Overlord. There's no Hydras. There's nothing in this main base. These 4 DTs are going to run in and just start rampaging and ravishing the drones, killing the tech buildings. We see a few of the good trades here in the front line for Hero, but nothing spectacular. Meanwhile, he's starting to lose all of his drones in his main right now, saying, looking absolutely gory as anything. Like, avert your eyes, Zerg players. This is not what you want to see. Just 4 DTs having a field day in your main base. They're going to even target down the hatchery, and this is a really bad news that he didn't make his lair or his hive in his main base, because now they're going to lose it very quickly. If he had made his lair and hive here, then he would not have lost this building, and this base would still be online. So really unfortunate, and being punished heavily by Bisu here.
I'm sensing a Bisu victory, guys. We got a Zealot counterattack going over towards this 4th base. Pretty good positioning with the Hydras here, but he's gonna have to send more reinforcements to assist. And oh my god, the Hydraless reinforcements getting stormed. Holy crap, that was probably one of the best storms I've ever seen in a pro match.
God damn, yeah, that was crazy. You don't usually see storms like that unless it's in like an amateur game or a game on the ladder or something. It's very rare to see a storm like that go off in a pro game. So crazy stuff for Bisu to cause so much pandemonium and chaos for that even to occur. But it's like Bisu just proving too much for Hero to handle right now. There is still some fighting chance left in for Hero, but all these units in the center are going to start to be gobbled up by the big powerhouse that is Bisu, coming out onto this map with these Dragoons and Zealots and even an Archon here, just swallowing everything in their path. 180 supplied to 100. 2-1 upgrades for these Zerg forces, but I believe Bisu's ahead in the upgrade curve since there wasn't any kind of bust play in the early game phases. So Bisu is kind of ahead by every metric for the time being, almost doubling the supply of Hero right now, looking very deadly in this game.
Yeah, this is rough. Hero, he had the late game planned out here. He's got the Defiler Mound, he's got the triple upgrades rolling, but was not able to deal with that drop play combined with the counter-attacking from Bisu, just pulling him apart. He's still fighting strong here in the middle, but slowly being broken down. More lurkers gonna come up here, but I think they're gonna get eaten by a huge storm as well. Yeah, rough storms there for those lurkers. Hydra numbers are way too low, and Bisu taking the center, I just don't think you can hold on if you let the Protoss take the center here.
No, absolutely not. Bisu even has like a fleet of 5 observers, so even if you start observer sniping as well, you're probably not going to kill all of them in time to prevent any kind of bust as well. So it's not really much win condition here for Hero left on the board for him to utilize, and Bisu's just like taking inch by inch, and eventually is going to be just swallowing and isolating any hope that Hero had of coming back in this game. Tactically very well composed by Bisu, just really ripping apart this Zerg player bit by bit, and kind of death by 1,000 cuts. Hero finally tapping out. GG is called. A little bit of life in the sails of Team Bisu here as he puts another point in the board, taking the score 4-2.
Okay, thank you, Bisu, for taking down Hero there. Gonna take us to set number 7. We're here to decide who is going to get to repeat their games, but Team Hero has banned that Saxory versus Mini matchup, and Team Bisu has banned Mighty versus Mong.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Saxory getting his match against Mini banned, so going to be tilting Mini, I think, a little bit. Don't even get a chance at redemption here. Kind of funny to think about. And Mighty also getting his matchup banned against Mong. That's a bit more understandable, especially because Mong's just such a stronger macro player than him. Maybe yeah, instead, though, we're going to be seeing one of these possible games, set 1, 4, 5, or 6 between Kim Hani, Bora Cadenzi, Tyson Sharp, and Bisu and Hero. Would really like to see a rematch between the likes of Bisu and Hero, maybe even Tyson and Sharp. So let's see what we get here.
Yeah, Tyson Sharp would be good. Here we go, spinning the win. Match number 5, Sharp Tyson.
Nice.
All right. Hey, that should be a fun match. The roulette wheel has spoken. Set number 7, going to be a rematch between Tyson and Sharp here on Retro. Let's see what Tyson can do this time. I hope he's not going to go for another DT play.
Yeah, I really hope he's not going to just try the exact same thing again, although that play is very responsive to being eBay blocked by Terran players, Pros players wanting to go for that tech switch into DTs to kind of make up for lost ground by losing that early economic curve, by getting that blocked and wanting to punish the timings of the Terran player since they are just investing so much into that eBay early on. But the likes of Sharp not going to be fooled by that. He's seen it all before, and instead, Tyson might want to maybe try some different kinds of tech paths. He could go for a 3-base carrier, but someone like Sharp's not going to be fooled by that. And he's such a strong player with his timings that he's going to punish anything you throw at him as long as it becomes scouted. So Tyson may have to throw him a curveball or 2 here, but I'm not so sure what he can do.
The stars are aligning here right now for Tyson. He's going to get in and actually see, or be able to steal the gas here potentially. He did throw down a gateway. I thought he was going to go for the gas steal here. Okay, he just goes ahead and grabs the gas. Sharp does. He's going to delay his barracks by a little bit, but he won't lose that gas. I thought that we were going to see Tyson steal the gas and then go for a Nexus.
Yeah, but what happened there? Did he give away his position to the probe? It looked like for a second that Tyson came in, saw nothing, and was going out with the probe, and then saw the SCV lagging behind, and then came back in again. Did he actually maybe not even scout that Sharp was here and almost misscouted him, and the SCV revealed that he was even here to begin with?
That might be the case, because Tyson, if he would have just ran straight in, he could have definitely got that gas steal, but Sharp getting a little lucky there, maybe. Able to...
I think that... I say it, I really think it's because Sharp put his supply depot off to the side like this, it really threw Tyson off, and he was expecting Sharp's building location to be different, so he assumed that Sharp wasn't even in this location.
That might be the case. Well, regardless, we've got Tyson here sending out his first Zealot across the map. Gonna try and put on some pressure, and maybe Sharp gonna regret putting his supply depot there, although he does have a second supply depot now to maneuver around with the Marine here, and he should be getting his factory started. Picking off that probe as well is nice, because it won't be able to deal any damage to that Marine and kind of soften it up for the Zealot.
Yeah, the one thing you do sometimes see happen to Terran players is that that initial Marine does get like softened up to like 30 HP by taking 2 particle beam shots, and then it's just a 2-shot from the Zealot, 2 16 damage Psyblade cycles. So yeah, it really can be annoying taking that early damage from the probe. So luckily not gonna be having to worry about that. Has the 2 pockets he can hide in with these against these Zealots, and needs to be careful not to lose too many SCVs. So far the dance has been going in his favor, not losing the SCV to that Zealot and taking the Zealot down to just 50 hit points and chasing it around the base right now. So far everything going well for Sharp.
Yeah, that was really, really well done. I love the base setup here from Sharp, having the factory there over on the right hand side. I didn't know that that made a perfect little wall here to maneuver, but he's done a great job kind of setting himself up to deal with this Zealot well. However, he's going to lose 2 Marines. That's a bit painful. Definitely could have avoided that had he microed a little bit better in that fight, but you know, he's got the factory done. He's got more Marines popping out here. He's gonna be okay. It's just a little bit annoying that Tyson managed to get those kills.
Yeah, so far Tyson did just barely enough to be able to finally get on top of the Marines and get that damage, and he's trying now to go for a positional play of pulling the Marines out of position with that initial Zealot that was on low, and then coming over the next Zealot to try and catch 1 or 2 of them off guard with a few punches and maybe getting a kill, but not going to be so lucky the second time around. Sharp a little bit ahead of the curve with that, and going to be bullying that Zealot away. More or less for free. Has the SCV to body block as well as come down here and start to build a bunker, and CC, if he so chooses, to will not be able to do anything with this initial Dragoon. He doesn't actually need to make a bunker yet because the initial Dragoon will be easily held by these first 4 Marines.
Yeah, that 1 Marine does get picked off. It was very low on that HP, but with the tank here as well, should be able to hold on. 4 Marines and a tank versus 2 Dragoons and a Zealot. Let's see how this fight goes. It's going to really come down to the micro here. That Zealot was super low. It gets instantly killed. Big win here for Sharp, killing off that first Dragoon.
Yeah, so far everything going Sharp's way, and currently the supplies are looking like that's also the case. Even on supply is very indicative of a Terran advantage at this phase of the game especially, so looking really healthy is Sharp. Throwing down the second factory, doesn't have to make a bunker at all right now. Saying really want to emphasize this. Like, he basically got to make 2 Marines for free because he doesn't have to make this early bunker, and that's affording him such a min-max advantage in this game. There is 3 Dragoons here though. Needs to be careful. Doesn't want to lose his tank for free against these 3 Dragoons. He's in a little bit of deficit now. Needs to make sure he turns around. 3 Marines and 1 tank does not beat 3 Dragoons with range, so needs to run away right now. It's going to be losing 1 of these Marines while in retreat. Hopefully we'll hold on to the rest of his units though, so not too bad here. A mine though, detonating on that Dragoon, taking it down to just 10 hit points, so nice connection there for Sharp. So far, still in the head of the lead here.
Yeah, that mine was really, really good. We've got quite a few Dragoons out here now. Sharp got to be careful not to lose this first tank. He got the advantage here. It's very important not to throw it away now. The natural is getting defended here with some mines. Tyson not going to be able to move out and deal any damage, but his Nexus is super late, right? 6 minutes, he throws that down. It feels like he maybe overcommitted to the Dragoons. He didn't need this many, I think, to actually hold things off. Maybe getting a little bit nervous because of how aggressive Sharp was being.
Yeah, honestly, I think Tyson was thrown off in this game. It looks like Sharp is just way more cool and collected in comparison, and he's going to be fighting himself into a very strong position because his command center was finished around the time that the Nexus was even being made for Tyson. So that's crazy in terms of like how much more advantageous that is for Terran. There is a small window there where Tyson can come in here and punish this fact though. So if Sharp's a little bit out of position when Tyson comes down here, maybe something can be done here for Tyson, but it's still going to be hard for him to find that damage. Sharp's not an amateur by any stretch, so you hopefully not be caught off guard by this too much. Is going to be taking a little bit of proactive position, trying to come out here and skirmish with the Dragoons, buying some time as much as possible as siege mode is on the way right now. He is able to lay some more additional mines with these vultures, but needs to be careful buying as much time as possible. Siege mode's about to finish up, just a few more precious seconds. There is a bunker being made, but there's no Marines to go in it. Siege mode finally finishes now, warding away these Dragoons, and there was a small window there for Tyson to punish Sharp as we were talking about, but now it's a little bit outdated and is going to be completely warded away, and Sharp has weathered the storm.
Not good there, Tyson. I mean, he got a few kills, but Really need to retreat out of the range of those tanks, losing a couple of dragoons, or losing one dragoon just to the fire there from those tanks, and then you know, losing a couple of dragoons in the actual attack. That means that he's not going to be able to you know, put on any additional pressure. He's going to have to head back home and just play a defensive game. Oh my god, how many misses was that? Was that like 6-7 shots missed? That's crazy.
Yeah, someone clipped that and sent it to Artosis, and he just would not stop talking about it for at least a minute.
Yeah, that's wild. That 50% miss shot looking more like 75% there. And Tyson, I mean, luck is just not on his side this game, man. We may be seeing a victory here for Team Hero.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking like that more and more, right? I mean, this is kind of crazy. Sharp is by no means has won this game yet. I mean, there is still this Reaver play, and that Reaver will also slow down any push timings of Sharp coming out here, even if it wasn't to find any kind of harassment damage on the SCV lines of Sharp. So there's still some play here available to Tyson going forward, but every metric so far is currently favoring Sharp, and if you kind of ask the computer here who is favored to win this game, it would be a very strong on the board, maybe about 70 to 78% in Sharp's favor currently on the board.
Tyson with a lot of weight on his shoulders right now. He has to win this game. Probably his heroes here, Mini and Bisu on his squad, cheering him on right now. It's got to be a lot of pressure. Hopefully he can perform, get some good damage onto Sharp, and actually take this into a longer game. His third base is coming up. He's got the pylon wall there, but there's still opportunities here for Sharp to slip in vultures. He hasn't put any sort of wall on the left-hand side of that third base, and he's not transferred the probes just yet. So pretty soon here, we're gonna have that opportunity for Sharp to come flying in with some vultures and get some damage. And really, Tyson needs to shut that down. He needs to slow down this third base as much as possible and take that macro edge back in this game. Where is Sharp gonna take his base? Is he gonna actually try to push up this ramp, or will he try to go to 6 o'clock? What do you think?
Well, there's two schools of thoughts here. So as Sharp, we can either expand horizontally and take the game to a super late game phase and just split the map in half and try and, like, you know, win a more guaranteed way that way. But it does kind of open up a lot of ways for the pros player to come back into the game. So he may instead want to expand vertically and attack and defend on the same axis here and take 9 o'clock instead. It does look like that's more his line of thinking and not wanting to be too passive in this game. But here comes Tyson coming down around these Dragoons, trying to get on top of these tanks with these phases. The shuttle goes down though. Beautiful play from Sharp sniping that, but now his tanks are completely undefended. Does get on top of them with these Dragoons starting to snipe those down. Does lose pretty much all of those tanks but one. Finally, the last tank going down. The Mind's though cleaning up most of these Dragoons as Sharp comes in with some vultures, tactically trying to kill all these Dragoons, but not able to get the final detonations required. So pretty good trade there for Tyson, resetting the tank count a little bit, but Sharp's still feeling pretty okay with those trades since he is in a pretty good situation with how the armies are looking right now, and it's still favoring him.
Yeah, losing the Reaver there, that was rough. I feel like Tyson, he definitely should have been able to pick that up before taking the first volley. He got one good shot off, and then the second shot, I don't know what happened to it. Maybe it dudded there, and now he's gonna have to retreat from the high ground. This is not what Tyson needed to bring himself back in this game. He needed to delay this a lot more, and now we're gonna have vulture drops over here with one tank as well. Oh my god, he's gonna get so much damage here. Target the probes. Beautiful shot there. 6 kills on this.
Wow, yeah, I think even like the vulture like weakened up a lot of those probes so that it died to one shot from the shell of the siege tank as well. So really well done from Sharp there, maximizing the damage potential of those units. And yeah, he's just basically securing a stronger and stronger chance at winning this game as time goes on. It's not obviously guaranteed by any stretch, and the win percentage will definitely be fluctuating quite significantly, probably between 60 and 80% at any given time Right now, I would say it's currently fluctuating around 70%. It's looking pretty strong now. With this dropship coming into the main base, that wing position could be going even higher on the percentages for him as he starts to lay down some mines in the main base and force more probes off the mining, while Tyson desperately coming into this 9 o'clock position with the shuttle support, trying to get something done. Also at the the natural expansion, trying to come in here on the bridge, trying to hit two bases, two locations at once here to try and tax Sharp and stretch him too thin. So far, there's enough siege tanks at this southern threshold to hold, but so far, Tyson's doing a good job of coming into this third base location and killing all the siege tanks here. Only vultures remaining. There is a siege tank on the low ground trying desperately to hold this position, but there's not really enough units here to keep hold of this base for the time being. So far, Tyson making a puncher's chance at this and maybe can stop the mining at this third base, forcing a liftoff.
All right, forcing a liftoff. Not bad, not bad. Tyson did lose a lot of Dragoons, though, down at the natural here of Sharp. Kind of running into tank fire there and losing a lot of those. He might get the shuttle. No, he doesn't get the dropship. Dropship manages to survive. Had he picked that off, that would have actually kind of secured his position a lot better here. Mines getting laid down behind this army. The reinforcements running right on into them. Zealots here with very low HP now. I don't know what they can do. I guess they can just sit here on the high ground and just sort of deny the space for a little bit, but still, Sharp doing very, very well here. He just needs to push back with this command center and take this high ground once again. He should be in a good spot. We'll see if Tyson can slow that down even further.
Yeah, we have currently +2 weapons upgrade online for Sharp on those tanks with arc light shot cannons doing now 80 damage apiece, so can rip apart these Dragoons when they do finally engage them. 2-1 is a very strong timing for Terran in this matchup, and Tyson definitely needs to be a little bit careful engaging Sharp as these upgrades start to become online, because the cost efficiency of this Terran army will only increasingly become more of an issue for him to deal with going forward. So Sharp now going to be much more comfortable in his position in this game once he retakes this third base with these grade timings being online, and now we'll be able to start mopping up these Zealots and Goods much more efficiently.
Ooh, Zealots being left there on that high ground, not really paying off for Tyson. He is going to be able to deal with this drop here pretty efficiently, killing off all of these vultures, the tank, and he gets the dropship as well. But another drop coming in here towards the third base. He really needs to move these probes to actually shut down these vultures a little bit. They are getting quite a lot of damage, and this one cannon just not killing them off quick enough. Oof. More and more damage here being dealt by Sharp as he takes that third base back.
Yeah, it's what Sharp does best. He is so cost efficient with these small vulture raids, and he always finds these small tactical advantages, and he understands that he just needs to sit back and build up and hit all his timings very crisply, but while also forcing as much damage onto the Protoss player as possible with these small drops and counter attacks with the vulture raids, and just so annoying for a Protoss player to deal with. And finally we see the frustration of Tyson coming into this 9 o'clock position now. 2 shuttles trying to dive bomb Zealots onto these tanks to rip apart this position, while the rest of the Zealot infantry with the Goon support coming in to the high ground now, trying to force as much of a bad trade as possible from Sharp. But so far Sharp trying to do his best to siege up on the bottom of the high ground here to kind of cut off the attack from the low ground, rather than coming in here to invest too much to defend. And it's actually causing a choke point for Tyson to fight down into. It's actually affording Sharp better trades, even though it looks like a good advantage for Tyson coming in from the high ground. It's actually favoring Sharp attacking from the low ground transition like this, and not really a lot of damage done to the SCV line meanwhile either, saying. So it's actually really favoring Sharp.
Ooh, that was bad. Losing all those Dragoons right on the top of the ramp, I was cringing there as those were going down, because that should have been a delay on this command center again. Once you get rid of those tanks on the high ground, you just kind of back away into the corner, start killing so many SCVs with your Dragoons that it forces Sharp to kind of abandon the position once again, and then things can actually start to go in your favor. But he just stayed and kept fighting, and all of the Dragoons exploded, and then he was able to keep the command center there and just push all of that back. Now he's getting great trades with these vultures. There's only a few Dragoons here, so he can't really keep these Zealots alive. Vulture's just ripping them apart. He's got some Templar out here now, but I wish he had Templar in that last fight, because that would have been so useful in pushing away those low ground units there. Not allowing them to come up that ramp could have given Tyson a big advantage. Now he's just in such a deficit, 40 supply behind, 50 supply behind. I don't know if there's any chance in no. GG. Tyson taps out. Oh, calamity here for the Bisu squad. Being knocked out by Team Hero. Ugh, it's so rough.
Well, Bora drives the chip bus off the cliff in pure nosedive right now, but it looks like Team Hero are going to be the potential champions, going to be taking on Team Light going forward. Now, I'm kind of excited though, like, wow, like, I'm kind of, Team Hero looking really strong, just absolutely destroying this lineup of TBC.
All right, we're heading into the finals here soon with Team Light versus Team Hero. The third place match is going to have to be Team Best versus Team Bisu. That's going to be a lot of PvP coming up soon. And then we're going to have the finals just a couple of days after that. I'm loving this 2 per week KCM schedule.
Yeah, it's kind of bringing us a lot of exciting action, and some of the days are just kind of spectacular and never quite know what you're going to get. And we haven't had too many mirror matchups as well, so I'm kind of liking the format for that reason. We still seem to be avoiding a lot of mirror matchups, so kind of stars aligning for us. So we probably will have 1 or 2 days where that's not the case, especially like we said, the Best versus Bisu lineup's probably going to be a fair few PvPs. But other than that, I've been really enjoying this new format and really excited to see what we're going to have in the finals between Light versus Hero.
Hero's done a great job this season drafting his team. They're looking very strong. I'm excited to see Cadenzi there in the finals, how she's going to do against her opponent. Team Light looking just fantastic as well. And of course, if we end up getting to that super ace match with Light versus Hero, that's going to be an epic conclusion to the first half.
Oh, absolutely. Light and Hero have been around for a very long time, and they're both extremely familiar with one another, and seeing them go up against each other and how they would try and outmaneuver one another would definitely be a rather exciting climax to witness.
For sure. So guys, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Go down into the description as well. Go over to KCM's channel and to Shun's channel as well. Give them some love. Thanks so much for dropping by. We'll see you guys in the next video.